Well, I've decided to make a little video about my family. And in doing that, of course, I think everything is about your family, whether you have one or not. It seems like whatever you talk about has something to do with who you are, how you grew up. And anyway, this is about, well, where's Kitty Cat? Kitty Cat's right here, thinking that this is part of Kitty Cat's family. So I'm going to really try to talk about my adventure in finding a family that I love so much. I already have a family before then, but this is really my core family, both my kids. So I'm going to give you a little history about going to Africa, looking for adventure. I wasn't looking for a family, but I don't think I was ever looking for anything. I was just having fun, and I'm glad it turned out to be both. So I'm going to start just by saying, actually, I have a little thing that I'm going to use later where I can tell when I'm looking at this, I'm looking down. I don't know how to look right straight into the camera, so maybe like that. Anyway, there's my backyard and my front yard. Kind of cool. Yeah. I was asked by my friend Glenn if I wanted to make more money than most people make in a lifetime. And in doing that, it wasn't about the money, it was about the adventure. The adventure was, did I want to go to Africa? Did I want to be a manager for a gold dredging operation in West Africa, Liberia? And I said, well, you know what? I'd love to do that, actually. It didn't take long to figure that out. I was driving a truck for a living. Actually, I think I was an EMT at the time, and which was very exciting. I was learning how to do that and save lives. But I thought going to Africa might be another way of saving my life because I needed more adventure than just seeing people that were injured. So anyway, I said, sure. And he said, okay, well, how about get ready, quit your job, do whatever you got to do, but get ready. We're going to be going in a couple months here. I said, okay. I didn't mind quitting my job. I do that all the time. I don't have any responsibilities, and it was just me. And so I said, okay. Well, anyway, a couple months went by, 6 months went by, a couple of years went by, and I went, Glenn, what's going on here? I mean, I can't, I'm actually not doing anything that's promoting me to have a career of some sort. And it sounds like what he wants me to do is very good, but I'm old enough to know that not everything goes the way it's supposed to. So I said to him, hey, listen, I need to have you do something that shows, get me over there. And maybe we don't start immediately on the gold dredging. Maybe you have somebody there that just get me over there so I can go out and see the country and get a feel for what I need to be doing. I'll be a lot more valuable knowing that kind of stuff. So he talked to a friend of his who ran the casino for the Hotel Africa. And so he said, how would you like to go manage or be a part of the casino? You could work in the slot machine department, and you'll be paid to do that. In the meantime, you can go out and adventure around and see what it's like. So I said, oh, yeah, why not? I can do that. That sounds great. So I signed up for a year contract, and it turns out, going there, I said, well, so what's this about the gambling part? Because I said, I don't like gambling, really. I mean, people do it for fun, but I don't want to be injuring. And a lot of people do it, and they lose money, and I don't want to. Entertainment's one thing. And he said, and no, don't worry about it. Everybody you'll be dealing with are the high echelon of the government of Liberia. They have nothing else to do but to come out and go to this casino and spend their money, which that's all they're doing, and nobody gets injured by doing this. And so I really had to think about it, going, okay, well, that's kind of my main concern. Anyway, that's not how it turned out, but that's how Glenn saw it, and that's how I was able to say, sure, I'll go in and do that. So I went over there, and it turned out that in a very short period of time, I was actually going to little villages with these slot machines and emptying the slot machines out and, being the technical person to kind of adjust them so that they continue to work correctly. But I saw people coming in that had worked all day long for $1. And they come in at the end of the day and they kiss their $1 and they kind of pray to God and they put it in the slot machine. Yeah. No, they didn't win. I don't remember seeing anybody win. I know people did because that's why they were doing it. 1 in a million, 1 in 1,000. I don't know what the numbers are, but then I realized this is not. I really don't like this. But now I'm over there, and this is my job, and so I continue to do it. And of course, there were all the people he talked about in the hotel itself that were coming in nightly and spending hundreds and thousands of dollars, which didn't mean much to them. It was just their entertainment. So, okay. Well, I did that for a certain period of time. They moved me into a very high-end place right on the beach on 15th Street in Liberia. And as I moved in, there were other people that they had hired from around the world to be there, doing the same thing I was doing. And the first thing they told me was, well, just last week, Mr. Davis, well-known politician, came banging on their door. And, people don't like answering their door. So he came to the window, and they looked out, and he was bleeding from the neck down. Somebody had slit his throat. And so they opened the door, brought him in, wrapped him up, took him to the hospital, whatever, and he survived. And that's the first part where I said, wow, I mean, it is dangerous over here. I mean, why are they coming to our place to knock on the door? Why are they slitting his throat, right? Well, because he was part of the Hotel Africa Magnifico operation. And so I said, okay, well, stay on my toes, realize there's things that are going on, and make sure I try to stay safe. Well, within a short period of time, I'm working at the hotel, and I get a call. We have radios, and I get a call, and it says, General, and I can't think of the general's name, but the general his office was at what we consider the White House, but it's the White House of the government of Liberia, where the president is, but also generals and different people are there. So this general had just taken a gun and shot somebody trying to steal some money from one of our machines. And I said, oh, okay. But we were being told, go home. Go home right now. It's not safe out here. People are mad at people. They call it bingo. People are doing bingo, death to the bingo or whatever. I'm going, oh my God, okay. So I get on my motorcycle. I start to ride home. Well, as I'm riding, I come up to large groups of people marching, yelling, death to bingo. Now, I'm bingo. And, if anybody knows me, which they do, because this is what I do, people know everybody there. I went, how do I get past this? Well, Providence Island is a very famous island where they had signed some contract. And so I got to get across that to get back to my home. And as I come up, I'm a pretty good motorcycle rider, and I kind of swerved in and out, and people are yelling at me, and some people had machetes. And anyway, I was able to get by them and get all the way back to where I need to be. But I'm hearing them chanting the whole time, meaning that, I understand they don't like us. Now people that are involved in this are killing people. So anyway, so I got back home. I have a machete that I have that was on the wall in my bedroom because of knowing that it could be dangerous and you want to be able to protect yourself. Anyway, so I waited to hear these people show up. There's nothing we could do. I had nobody to protect. There were other people there too. They were just kind of hiding out, going, there's not a lot we can do except for to hope it goes away. We don't have any army or security for ourselves here. So we waited, and as the night went on, it turned out they never showed up where we were, which was a good thing. But the next day, I'm being asked by the boss, not Glenn. Glenn got me involved in this, but Glenn was in America. and he said, hey, listen, I need you to go with me. We're going to go to the White House. And we need to talk to that general. And we need to tell him that he's lost his contract with us. And what? This is where he makes money. And we're going to tell him he doesn't have a job anymore. And you want me to go with you, so now I'm connected with you. And, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. I said, everything I hear about this doesn't sound fine to me. But, I mean, that was kind of my job, and so I went with him. And I thought, they said, well, the president's right down there. You want to go see him? No. Let's just get this over with. Let's tell him whatever we got to do. It doesn't sound like a good thing to me. Can we give him a warning? No, we got to fire him because everybody's after us. And he, thinks the way to solve the problem is let's just shoot them if they do something wrong. Anyway, it went pretty well. I mean, I was there to kind of support my boss, and the general said, okay, well, can I have it back next week, or how long will it take before I get it back? And the boss kind of, you might not get it back. He says, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to get it back, so tell me right now. I mean, when will that be? And, well, it's not going to be next week. We'll have to get back to you on that. But as of right now, we have to make sure the people out there know that you're not involved anymore because of what happened. So he said, okay. We leave, and I go back, and then I start rethinking, is this really where I want to be? I wanted to see a lot about the country and learn things, and this was kind of a one way to do it. And then all of a sudden I was told, hey, take a couple of weeks off, get on your motorcycle, look around the country, do it. We got to stay away anyway because it's too hot to be even out there. And I said, okay. So I actually started traveling around the country and seeing things, and wow, waterfalls. And so I did a little research and found maps that showed me, ancient maps. These aren't, I didn't go in and say, can I have a map of, all the waterfalls in Liberia? They didn't have anything like that. They had old maps from actually 100 years ago and kind of showed me where old roads might have been or whatever. So I started traveling around, and sure enough, I fell in love with the country. It's beautiful. And I was able to actually learn a lot about the culture, the different tribes that were there, and to really kind of put myself in a position to say, you know what, I wouldn't mind living here. This is really nature at its best. Now, shortly after that, I came down with malaria. I said, okay, yeah, nature at its best. Well, there are things here that, you have to remember are not really conducive to healthy living. I came down with malaria. I was able to get to a doctor. They gave me some medication. I guess 2 weeks later. Anyway, I came down with it 4 times. And each time, I learned, I had actually read up on this before I even went there. There's 4 different types. Out of the 4, one of them you'll never recover from. The other 3 you can still die from, but not as likely to ever come back once you're over it. And so one of them, and the way you could tell the difference between the 2, these parasites would hatch either every 24 or 48 hours. And that meant that if I started getting chills and stuff from that every 24 hours, then I had this type. If it was every 48 hours, I had this type, which is not good. So mine turned out to be every 24 hours on the 4 that I had, and I was able to overcome all that. So anyway, I went back to doing my job the way it was, and at some point, we're being told, well, actually my boss said to me, but we know we have inside information from the government, not just from the government, from maybe even the American government or whatever, that they're going to kill this president. They don't like him, and he's kind of being supported by the U.S. government, but he wanted me to prepare to go into hiding once this coup would take place, which meant save food, tell the people I work with. So he kind of put me in, I was in a management position. And so we saved food, we did different things. And that's when I had bought that motorcycle, so that in fact, if something happened, I can get away. So I took that motorcycle, I went out with my maps, and I looked around the country to see, well, how would I get out of here? Because he said, oh, they'll close the airports. You'll have no transportation. You'll be here until the end. So you have to find a way out. So I did. I went across a couple different borders, across the Mano River border into Sierra Leone, and I found waves through these pineapple, estates and stuff where I could get behind all this stuff. And I talked to some people that had canoes that would put my bike on a canoe and get me over to Sierra Leone. I did the same thing over to the other side, the Ivory Coast. And so I felt pretty good about being able to maneuver if something happened. Anyway, as time goes on, I'm still looking around. I go out into the jungles. I'm still looking at stuff. And I come across some women that had come out of the jungle. Now, here, a lot of the women don't wear tops. So to me, I look over, well, okay, well, let me look at this for a minute. Well, that minute was probably longer than a minute. And when I look back at the speed I was going, I couldn't make the turn. So I put on my brakes, I slid in, I hit the jungle brush. I was thrown probably 25 feet. Broke my shoulder. And I damaged the front of my bike and whatever. And as I'm laying there, I look up and these women are looking at me like, and they don't speak English. I'm kind of waving them like, hey, can you help me? I can't do it. I'm injured, right? Well, that scared them so much. And what I understand later is they thought I was the devil because I just did something that, okay, people do that, they die. You're still alive and you're asking them to come over to, visit them or something. So anyway, they ran off. So I was able to get up with a broken shoulder, and I was able to straighten the front of my forks out on my bike with a broken arm. And then I was able to drive with the opposite hand. And it was not easy, but I was able to, it took 3 hours actually to get back to civilization through the jungles. And when I got back, I went in and they, oh no, you broke your shoulder, you're gonna have that operated on. Oh my God, okay, well, what do you do? So my boss said, hey, listen, no problem. We can put you on a plane tonight and go back to America, and we'll pay for whatever surgeries you need and all that. But you won't be able to come back. That'll be the end of your contract. I said, oh God, okay. So I said, well, let me go find out what kind of surgery you have here. I went and talked to the doctors there at JFK. It was, I think, it's the name of the hospital, and they had been trained in England, and they sounded very, very knowledgeable and thought, no problem, we can do this operation. So I said, well, you know what? I'll stay here, I'll have the operation, I'll heal, and I'll be able to continue on. Because I was having fun and learning things. It was a way to escape if I wanted to, but I really was in the adventure mode. So I had the operation. Turned out that when I was done, it did take some time to recover. But all of a sudden, now we have an attempted coup. And Kawampa, who was the person who had come in with his group, started killing everybody, and they were getting close to killing the president right where I was. Well, my arm is bandaged up, and I really could not get on my motorcycle and escape. I was kind of trapped there. So I have some notes and stuff from people that were sending me things because you could hear machine guns going off outside of our place. And I said, okay, well, they're pretty serious. I'm kind of trapped here. So I went downstairs. I got my motorcycle was parked inside. I took off the gas line. I filled up some bottles of Coke bottles or whatever they were, and made some Molotov cocktails. And I thought the only thing I can do is, it was kind of a cement building. So my thought was, if somebody tries to come in, my guess was I was going to light these on fire, throw them down there, big flames, scare them off, hopefully, and not, hopefully not burn the place down, and I'm on the second floor. But even then, I thought, okay, I'll just jump out the window. Somehow I'm going to make it out of here. And a lot of machine guns, a lot of fighting. Turns out, hey, guess what? They never came in but you could hear them literally right outside of our place on the beach, shooting people screaming. So I thought, okay, this is very serious. A couple days later, it turned out that Susan turned out to be now my ex-wife, and I had a relationship. And when I met Susan, she had a daughter named Frederica. And Frederica was like 6 months old at the time. At this time, I'm guessing she was about a year old, because I remember giving her birthday party at Hotel Africa and having a cake made for her and all this stuff. Well, she was trapped on the rubber plantation, the Goodrich rubber plantation in Godric. And Susan had to go get her daughter, which I understand. And I said, but she'll be fine. She's out there and we're here. Here's where all the fighting's going on. So let's leave her there. No, I got to go now. You stay here if you want. Well, I didn't want to do that, so I went with her. And we actually turned out, got there, found her, and started coming back. Well, on the way back, of course, by this time, now it's everywhere. There's checkpoints everywhere. And we come to a checkpoint, and we hear people screaming and people being pulled out of their vehicles. And I'm looking back. We're in a taxi cab. So it's Susan and I and Frederica. And Frederica's asleep in the back. And they said, anyway, so we come in, and as we come in, they're stopping each person, asking them questions. They're dragging people out, dragging them into the jungle, shooting them, and then bringing them back and throwing them on a truck. And this is the line that I'm in. And so I thought, wow, okay. Well, you can't turn around and leave because they're going to chase you and shoot you anyway. So at least let me see. And so we get up to the place, and the guy says, hey. And so they did speak some English. We're looking for rebels. I said, okay, I haven't seen any. They said, well, no, we know there's some here, and we know that you could be a rebel. I said, well, I can tell you something, but I want you to promise me you won't take advantage of this. And they said, what's that? I said, I do know where there's a rebel. And the guy's eyes light up and go, what? Well, that's what we're looking for. Okay. I said, but it's a dangerous rebel. This isn't just your everyday rebel. Oh, well, that's okay. We're ready for that. Okay. I said, well, look in the back seat. See that child laying down there? Yeah. That's actually a rebel. We're able to get her, and we were actually taking her because of the fact that we knew she was a rebel. And we're going to take her in and turn her in when we get to the other side. The guy looks at me and goes, get the hell out of here. And he let us go right then. Because he knew I was joking. And he could have taken Frederica, he could have taken me, he could have killed us all. Didn't do that, thankfully. And so we go back, and luckily we get back in time. There was a curfew. They shot anybody outside. They were shooting people. You could hear them shooting people outside past 6 o'clock. So it wasn't just like somebody saying, I'm going to do this. This is what they did. So that was very nerve-wracking. But we made it through that part of it, thankfully. My arm did heal. And at some point, we were told that the president at the time, Samuel Kayando, was basically forcing our company to pay for his 5,000 person dinner so that he could be reelected president again. And we were told, hey, don't go near there. You know, we'll send our chefs there, we'll do all this kind of stuff, but we don't want any of you guys there. It's dangerous. I said, okay. I don't have a problem with that. So I'm out with my friends. It's nighttime. I'm in shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, sandals. And somebody says, let's just drive by and see what it looks like. I think it was being done at the Hotel Africa. And I said, oh, I don't think it's a good idea. I said, well, let's go by anyway. And I see somebody, and he says, hey, come here. Come on in. We're going to get you the best dinner you've ever had. It's all on us, right? We'll keep you safe. I said, I was warned not to do this anyway, but it did sound kind of, wow, I'd like to see what's going on. Everybody, every single 5,000 people in tuxedos except for me. And of course I'm white, and everybody else is African American. So I go, no, let's go get something to eat, I guess. So we go in, and actually the guy said, it turns out the president's not going to make it here. He's going to all these different events. This is one of them. He's not going to make it here. I said, okay. So it sounds safe to me. I go in, and as I go in, it turns out that they say, okay, well, let's come over here to the back. And this is where we're making all the food and all that stuff. And I knew some of these people, so I felt pretty comfortable. All of a sudden, I heard all this commotion at the front. What the hell is that all about? And he goes, oh, don't worry about it. They're just making a lot of noise and having fun. They're getting free food or whatever. And all of a sudden, people are being pushed, and I'm being pushed. And they go, back up, back up. So I keep backing up. Well, it turns out the president, Samuel Kyan Doe, had just showed up. And now he wants to come in and get fed. So they're pushing everybody back, and I can't go anywhere but back up. So I'm backing up, and finally, there's a room that he's actually going to that's right behind me, and they keep pushing me. I go, no, I'm going to go. No, you're going this way. Back up, back. And they push me into this room. Well, in this room was his private dinner place. And at the top, when I look around, there's all the soldiers had machine guns. So it's up on the second floor looking down on us. And there's only 50 of us. I'm one of 50 people that are going to go in now and have dinner with the president. And I go, I couldn't say no. There's no way to escape. I'm being pushed in. I'm in there. I sit down. And the guy, there's 4 of us at this table. Everyone there had a gun in one hand and a fork or spoon in the other hand, and they're eating, right? I'm going, and I'm not eating anything. What do you want? Nothing. I don't want anything. Okay, well, so the guy that I know comes up and says, hey, I want to introduce you to the president. Now, I'd already been told very clearly that nobody likes this guy. There's going to be an attempted coup. They're going to kill him. And so best not be recognized as someone that supports him, right? And I said, no, that's okay. No, I'm telling you, you really need to come over and meet the president. I go, well, I'm telling you this. You got to tell him, whatever you got to tell him. And I can look over and see, and he's two tables away, and only 5 tables. So I'm going, okay, I'm stuck. But at the same time, somehow in my mind, I'm going, I thought they were going to have an attempted coup that night. And that's what it looked like. Armed people everywhere. And, why not tonight? So I didn't have to go. And I sat there and we ate. And then all of a sudden everybody goes. And I still have a menu from that night. So I kept that menu just going, wow, this might be historic for myself at least. And so we were able to leave. And I didn't have to meet the president. And anyway, so as time goes on, as I'm there, they did have a number of attempted coups. And so during that time, guess what? I survived. I was there. My term was up. I was able to leave. Life was great. And the stories I'll tell you, I'll have to add them in there as I go. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what it was like to be there and realize, this is probably not the best thing I could be doing, but it was adventurous. And so I said, hey, listen, at that point, it was time for him to leave. And I came in and I had to say goodbye to Frederica, who at this point I had been seeing Susan, and Susan working, doing what she was doing. So I'd go by and visit her at the rubber plantation and took her to the zoo and did different things. And so it was time to leave. And I had not been in a position like this. So I said, when I went to see her, I realized that, okay, well, hey, honey, I'll be going, and I'll write you a letter. I'll do this kind of stuff. And okay, Papa, I'll see you tomorrow. There was nothing to say. Oh, no, actually, and I, obviously, okay, you see me tomorrow. Okay, Papa, see you tomorrow. And I thought, my God, I mean, I'm leaving people that I know are in a dangerous place, that I care about. So I left, and as I left, I went over to, on my way home, I went to Kenya, I went on safaris, I went up to Mount Kilimanjaro, I did all this fun stuff, but as I went to the pyramids, I went to Cairo, I went up the Nile, all this adventure stuff on the way home. But the whole time I was thinking about, Susan, but everything I was really thinking about is, how could I leave Frederica there? She was 1.5 at that age, right? And she really depended on me to be somebody in her life and whatever. So I thought, oh my God, I mean, what do you do? So as I'm doing these travels, I'm thinking, is there anything I can do? I've decided not to get married. In my life, I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. But is there something I can do? So anyway, I get back, I think about it. I call Susan and I say, look, if I can get you over here, I can only do it if we get married. And I don't want to get married. And she did. I said, but I think it would be better for you and Frederica to live here, and then we'll live here together for 3 years, get divorced, and then I can help you and you can get a job and you'll have a better life. And so she agreed. So that's what I did. And best thing I ever did in my life. Both my kids, Brett and Frederica, are what most people would say in their life is their family, to the point where not just their family, but this is why people do things. This is what motivates people in life. So that's what I'm going to do, is really be in a position to tell more of this story in different other episodes of this, of how being there, and then when I did get her back to America, her and Susan showed up December 25th of God only knows, 1985, 1986. She literally had just 1986, I guess. She was born in 1984. December 15th was her birthday, 2-year-old birthday. She was there, and she was in the hospital with malaria. So it just tells you, nothing to do with rebels or anything else. It's an unhealthy place for anybody to be. But I'd already, wheels were in motion. She showed up here on Christmas Day, greatest Christmas present you could ask for. So, again, this is the overview. After having her be here and now I'm putting her into kindergarten. I had her before the preschool and all that, and then kindergarten. Glenn calls me up and says, hey, guess what? Now's the time we want you to come and be the manager for this gold dredging operation. I said, Glenn, there's no way. I got a family now. He said, yeah, but what are you doing for a living? I said, well, I'm driving a truck. Yeah, how many hours a day? A lot. 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Are you making any money? I'm making enough money to raise my family. Yeah, but you never see them. Anyway, so it was a hard decision. I couldn't really just say, sure, let's do that. He said, I promise you come here, I'm going to give you this unbelievable amount of money every month. They'll be put in an account there for Susan, and she can spend it any way she wants. And then after 3 years, you'll be a multimillionaire. You will not have to work again. So I just need you for 3 years to get this thing going. Well, it's kind of like the casino thing. It sounds good. Yeah, I can, okay. But I'm going to be missing my family. But I did do that. And so in doing that, then comes all these other stories of being in the jungles and running and having to run a crew that, with Snake Man, who's a guy that kills people with snakes. And it was exciting. And while I was there was another attempted coup. I'm in the jungles. And it turned out that as I got out, the plane I got out on they had shot holes in it, small little plane. I'm in the jungle. They're picking me up. I'm going back. And so this is just another one of the stories that when I get on the plane actually back to the U.S., a jet from France or where the hell I'd gotten to, the news showed that they just killed the president, Kyan Do. So a lot of drama. Yes, it was all worth it. But this is kind of like my overview of no way. Yeah, there's a way. And I'm glad I did what I did. Okay, bye now.